continuing to connect as a community and let ourselves heal, recover, and remind each other that a better future is possible. And when we do it together.
When I think of better together with Psyop, I think of sense of community and knowledge sharing. I envision the freedom to express meaningful ideas that advocate for communities of color, for my community.
I am an IO psychologist with innovative and impactful practices. With my Psyop colleagues, we have thousands of innovative, impactful practices. We are better together.
Psyop is better together because our individual areas of expertise, whether it's theory, methods, or translation from academia to practice, can be put together for a better positive impact than any one of us individually.
At Psyop, we are better together because it takes diverse human experiences, perspectives, and backgrounds to achieve our goals as IO psychologists. We use science and practice to build effective organizations, enhance performance, and most importantly, promote worker well-being for all.
Esteemed Psyop guest, please welcome Conference Chair Whitney Bosford Morgan.
Thank you.
Okay, go to the slide.
Welcome to the 37th Psyop Annual Conference. A heartfelt thank you to each of you for your commitment to Psyop and making the trip to Seattle. Thanks to the dedicated and resilient administrative office staff, the conference committee is pleased to bring you an event that provides pathways for virtual and in-person presentation and participation, a first for the annual conference. I'm very pleased to announce that as of this week, we had 4,082 registered attendees and 2,985 of those in Seattle with us. Before we embark on the 2022 conference activities, I'd invite everyone to extend their deep gratitude to our 2020 and 2021 Psyop presidents, Eden King and Georgia Chow, as well as conferences and portfolio officer Scott Tony Dandel, and 2020 and 2021 program chairs Elizabeth McCune and Emily Solberg, who together with Steven Rogelberg, the executive board and conference committee, have successfully navigated Psyop through the pandemic environment. Please all stand to be recognized. So, executive board, these key folks, please stand to be recognized. Come on, up. There you go. Every moment of the next 3 days is packed with exciting learning and networking opportunities. Thanks to the efforts of Program Chair Richard Landers, the entire program committee, and all of you who submitted and reviewed proposals, we have nearly 800 sessions featuring IO psychology research, practice, theory, and teaching-oriented content. This year's theme track, Better Together, features 5 informative, interactive, and inspirational sessions on various ways we can collectively be better together in our organizations and in our professional society. Richard and the 2022 Program Committee, please stand to be recognized. Use Whova's Psyop's conference app to search for sessions, receptions, build your personal schedule, and much more. Please note that registration and all sessions are held in the Convention Center just around the corner, with evening activities here in the Sheraton. Please do note that you will need to complete a daily health screening So allow an extra minute as we work together to make this a safe event. Psyop is dedicated to creating an enjoyable conference experience for all and has added a number of inclusive practices, included enhanced dietary offerings, captioning of sessions, and on-site resources for observing the holy month of Ramadan. Please see the dining guide in the on-site guide for details on food and beverage offerings and options. In addition to our anti-harassment policy, we are proud to have 2 Psyop members, Betsy Schoenfeld and Peggy Stockdale, serving as ombuds. While we hope their expertise is not needed, they are available virtually and in person during the conference to assist attendees with issues relating to the anti-harassment policy as they may arise. Finally, we kindly request that you pay attention to and abide by the colored lanyard signifying comfort with interaction as we work together to make an enjoyable conference experience for all. The conference will conclude with the closing lunch event that includes lunch stations with market-style entertainment featuring the Pike Place Fishmongers. Plan to shop local from 12 entrepreneurs in support of Ventures Marketplace, an incubation program for product-based businesses. Pick up souvenirs for yourself or for your loved ones while supporting the Seattle community. I want to give a special shout out to our platinum level partners for their support, Hogan Assessment Systems and SHL, as well as many gold, silver, and bronze level partners. Support from our partners helps make your Psyop conference experience better, so we share our thanks. Now please join me in welcoming SIOP Fellowship Chair Stephanie Payne to the stage as we celebrate our new fellows.
As you heard, I'm Stephanie Payne, Professor of Psychology at Texas A&M University and Chair of the Fellowship Committee this year. I would like to take a moment to thank my committee composed of 11 SIOP Fellows, pictured here. Together, we reviewed more than 800 pages of text to evaluate the 22 nominations we received. I'm indebted to my committee members for their careful consideration and collegial discussions. Fellowship is bestowed on IO psychologists who have made unusual and outstanding contributions in the field to both research, practice, as well as teaching, service, and administration in the field. Given that they didn't receive on-stage recognition, which we all always look forward to, during the pandemic and due to the transition to virtual events, I'd like to take some time to acknowledge the classes of 2020 and 2021. I invite these individual members to stand and to be honored. Please hold your applause until I have read all of their names for the 2020 cohort. There were 31 fellows in 2020. They are, and again, please stand, Nathan Ainspan, Joseph Allen, Alex Alonzo, Christopher Barnes, Mariangela Batista, Tara Barrand, Dana Bourne, Nathan Bowling, Scott Brooks, Robin Cohen, Alan Colquitt, Catherine Dowse, Jeffrey Facto, Gwyneth Fisher, Sharon Glazer, Edie Goldberg, Peter Harms, Sylvia Highsong, John Kemmemeyer Mueller, Richard Landers, Juan Madeira, Suzanne Masterson, Susan Mohammed, Insu O, Walter Reichman, Christopher Rosen, Elizabeth Schoenfeld, Janine Waklowski, Shona Waters, John Weiner, and Brian Welly. Let's go ahead and acknowledge our scholars. There were 12 fellows elected in 2021. Please again hold your applause until I've read all of their names, and please, I'd invite you to stand. Zinta Byrne, Daisy Chang, Jürgen Deller, Dennis Doverspike, Karen Graybo, Sandy Herskovich, Russell Johnson, Russell Matthews, Brent Scott, Kristen Shockley, Sang-Un Wu, and Zen Zhang. Congratulations. And now I'm delighted to introduce the class of 2022 SIOP Fellows.
Dr. Marcia Avidan, as Chief HR Officer, has implemented leading-edge practices in talent management, leadership development and succession, diversity, equity and inclusion, compensation, and organization change. Her significant professional contributions include multiple book chapters, graduate-level lectures, advisory board leadership, conference presentations, and IO advisor to nonprofit organizations, and was recently named Distinguished HR Executive of the Year. Dr. Suzanne Briere is a professor of disability studies and has impacted IO Psychology's approach to the employment of people with disabilities. She is a board-certified rehabilitation counselor, a past Society for Human Resources Management certified senior HR professional, and a fellow of APA Division 22, Rehabilitation Psychology. She is co-editing a Psyop book on neurodiversity with Dr. Adrian Colella. Dr. Marcus Butt's work on phenomenon-driven contemporary work-life issues in relation to employees' emotions, attitudes, and performance and workplace relationships has been cited over 8,000 times. He has taught 15 different courses and chaired or served on 20 dissertation committees. He has won teaching awards from 2 universities and the AOM Best Reviewer Award twice. Dr. Alexander Sasha Chernyshenko's work led to the Tailored Adaptive Personality Assessment System, TAPAS, the main personality assessment measure used in the U.S. military. He has published 57 journal articles and 18 chapters, and his work has been cited more than 5,500 times. He earned Nanyang's Best Teacher Award 6 times and held several academic administrative roles. Dr. Charles Handler is president of U.S. operations at SOVA Assessment. After 21 years as president and founder of Rocket Hire, Dr. Handler has joined SOVA Assessment as the president of its U.S. operations. He has been described as one of the first experts in the nation on modern internet-based personnel testing, incorporating a unique and invaluable combination of I/O knowledge. Dr. Veronica Schmidt-Harvey exemplifies the scientist practitioner, contributing innovations in assessment, leadership development, and learning agility for over 30 years. She led the redesign of Leader, Aon's virtual simulation, which received awards for innovation and excellence. She is co-editor of a Psyop professional practice series book, The Age of Agility, and leads Psyop's new Work Smart series. Dr. Sarah Heslett is leader of assessment at Korn Ferry and has held faculty positions at the universities of Minnesota and Illinois. She is published on assessment, development, and student performance. As president of the Minnesota Professionals for Psychology Applied to Work, she led the founding of their successful mentoring program. Dr. Jenny Hubler has published 38 peer-reviewed journal articles, and her work on gender and diversity in organizations, work-family intersections, and abusive supervision has been cited more than 5,000 times. She's invested in developing scholars from an underrepresented part of the world and has been an active volunteer in Psyop and beyond. Dr. Sam Hunter's work has been guided by an interest in the topics of leadership and innovation, where he studies malevolent and benevolent forms of each. He has published 60 journal articles and been cited more than 5,500 times. He has secured over $5 million in grants and contracts, including from the National Science Foundation. Dr. Jeffrey Jolton, affectionately referred to as Dr. J, is described as a trusted advisor to several hundred client organizations spanning multiple industries. He translates science into practice for organizational leaders and develops proprietary online tools to capture job competency and skills. He has generated countless white papers, presentations, articles, and chapters. Dr. Cornelius Koenig's research topics include personnel selection, job insecurity, time management, and the research process. He has published 121 peer-reviewed articles and 23 book chapters, co-authored 1 book, co-edited 2 books, and his research has been cited more than 6,000 times. He's associate editor of International Journal of Selection and Assessment and Personnel Assessment and Decisions. Dr. Megan Lejour received Psyop's Distinguished Early Career Contributions Practice Award in 2017. Her work in selection and talent management impacted thousands of employees, reduced turnover, and saved millions of dollars. She has served on numerous Psyop committees, is a member of the Forbes Human Resources Council, and was named one of the 10 most influential leaders in HR. Dr. Liberty Munson defines, designs, manages, and implements the psychometric strategic vision, including exam design, development, sustainment, and statistical analysis for all Microsoft certification exams and credentialing programs, reducing development time and cost by more than 50%. She is the Communications Portfolio Officer, the Special Sessions Chair for the 2022 conference, and annually plans the Frank Landy Fun Run. Dr. Patrick Gavin O'Shea has led projects for the International Coaching Federation, the U.S. Secret Service, Office of the Director of National Intelligence, and many others. He received the Virginia Tech College of Science Outstanding Recent Graduate Alumni Award, chaired Psyop's Workshop Committee, and is currently one of Psyop's APA Council representatives. Dr. Nathan Potzikov has published 29 peer-reviewed journal articles, 54 conference presentations, 11 book chapters, and 1 book. His work has been cited more than 80,000 times, according to Google Scholar, and more than 45,000 times according to Web of Science. He was awarded Psyop's 2005 William A. Owens Scholarly Achievement Award in 2003. Dr. David Rodriguez is a public company board director and former chief HR officer at Marriott International. He was awarded the American Psychological Association's Organizational Excellence Award, inducted as a fellow of the National Academy of Human Resources, and named HR Executive of the Year by Human Resources Executive Magazine. Dr. Court Rudolph has published more than 80 peer-reviewed articles, and his work has been cited more than 5,000 times. At his university, he oversees the entire PhD statistics sequence, teaching graduate students about psychometrics, meta-analysis, and structural equation modeling, and has mentored more than 50 undergraduate students and 20 master's and PhD students. Dr. Mindy Schoss has published more than 50 peer-reviewed articles and 10 book chapters, been cited more than 3,800 times, and received considerable grant funding from national agencies. She was recognized with the Gwendolyn Puryear Kita Award for Social Justice and the Welfare of Working People at the 2021 Work, Stress, and Health Conference. Dr. Gerald Slaughter conducts research on recruitment and application reactions and attraction to organizations, judgment and decision-making, and employee engagement. He has published 42 papers, including 18 in top-tier outlets. His work has been cited more than 6,000 times. He serves on numerous editorial boards and Psyop committees, and served as the department head at Arizona for a 5-year term. Dr. Louis Tay pursues cross-disciplinary lines of inquiry in methodology and well-being. He has published 120 peer-reviewed journal articles and has secured more than $4.5 million of grant funding. He has received 3 early career awards, a Rising Star Award from APS, and was elected Fellow of the Society for Personality and Social Psychology.
This brings the number of paid SIOP Fellows to 410. I encourage each of you to read more details on the Fellows' individual achievements in the SIOP Salutes brochure, which is available in the back of the room, as well as on the Whova app. Congratulations to the 2022 class of SIOP Fellows. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce the Awards Committee Chair, Joe Allen.
Thank you, Stephanie. As she said, I am Joe Allen. I am a professor of IO psychology at the University of Utah and the current awards chair for Psyop. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity I have had to serve as the chair for the awards committee and to have such great people working with me. Particularly, I'm thankful for the associate chair, John Kello, and the chair in training, Gina Cox, and our operations manager, Cindy McCauley. Without their efforts, the Psyop Awards program would not have happened this year. I also want to acknowledge the 33 subcommittee chairs and the more than 200 volunteers among all of you who helped to review all of the nominees for the scholarships, grants, and awards that we're talking about today. So thank you so much for your service. It would not happen without all of you. Today, we're excited to honor 37 winners this year of the Psyop Awards, grants, and scholarships. More details about each of them can be found in the 2022 Psyop Salutes brochure that many of you have grabbed at the back of the room here, as well as digitally on the Whova app. Before we acknowledge the 2022 Distinguished Award winners, I'd like to first recognize the 2020 and 2021 winners who did not receive an onstage recognition due to those conferences transitioning to virtual events. I invite the award winners to stand when their name is called, and please hold applause until I have read all the names of 2022, or 2020. The 2020 Distinguished Award winners are Paul R. Sackett, Dunnett Prize, John C. Scott, Distinguished Professional Contributions Award, Denise M. Rousseau, Distinguished Scientific Contributions Award, S. Morton McPhail, Distinguished Service Contributions Award, Mahima Saxena, Psyop Humanitarian Award, Kristen N. Sabot, Distinguished Early Career Contributions Award, Practice, Juliet Aiken, Distinguished Early Career Contributions Award, Practice, Ning Lee, Distinguished Early Career Contributions Award, Science, and Janet L. Kotke, Distinguished Teaching Contributions Award. Congratulations to the 2020 winners. And thank you. You may be seated. Now I would invite the award winners to stand when their name is called for the 2020 award winners. Please again hold applause until I have announced all of the names for 2021. So the 2021 Distinguished Award winners are Douglas H. Reynolds, Distinguished Professional Contributions Award, Herman Aguinness, Distinguished Scientific Contributions Award, Deirdre J. Knapp, Distinguished Service Contributions Award, Kristen L. Cullen Lester, Distinguished Early Career Contributions Award, Practice, Allison S. Gabriel, Distinguished Early Career Contributions Award, Science, David Constanza, Distinguished Teaching Contributions Award, Stuart Carr, Psyop Humanitarian Award, and Moses Rivera, Grain Grant for Student Research on Leaders and Teams. Congratulations to the 2021 winners. Now let's acknowledge the 2022 Distinguished Award winners.
Done It Prize recognizes work that has significantly expanded knowledge of the causal significance of individual differences through advanced research, development, and/or application. Dr. Robert Hogan is the preeminent expert on the science of personality, applying it to real-world situations. His Hogan Personality Inventory and Hogan Development Survey are widely used and respected. A collaborator, he works with early career IO psychologists to help them establish themselves in the industry. The Distinguished Scientific Contributions Award recognizes outstanding scientific work in industrial and organizational psychology. Dr. Michelle Gelfand is an IO leader and innovator with more than 130 articles and 45 chapters. She has edited a dozen books, started a book series, and received more than $16 million in funding. In 2021, she was elected to the National Academy of Sciences. Her awards and accolades are too numerous to list. The Distinguished Service Contributions Award recognizes sustained, significant, and outstanding services to Psyop. Dr. Evan Sinar has made a meaningful impact in many roles and forms. His positions include Financial Officer/Secretary, Conferences and Programs Portfolio Officer, Program Chair, LEC Planning Committee, Psyop Content Initiative Member, TIP Columnist, and Futures Committee Member. He guided Psyop financially through the pandemic. The Psyop Humanitarian Award recognizes work that strengthens the positive influence of IO psychology on social issues. Dr. Walter Reischmann believes psychology is important to the United Nations' success and is committed to helping the UN use psychology to achieve their Sustainable Development Goals. He is President Emeritus of the Psychology Coalition of the United Nations, Professor Emeritus from Baruch College, and main NGO representative to the Economic and Social Council of the UN from IAAP. The Distinguished Teaching Contributions Award recognizes sustained experience in a position requiring substantial teaching responsibilities. Dr. Jose Maria Pyro supervised 63 dissertations, instituted a European master's degree in work in organizational psychology, and developed the Erasmus Mundus program on work, organizational, and personnel psychology. He was president of the European Association of Work and Organizational Psychology and International Association of Applied Psychology, helping create the Alliance for Organizational Psychology. Psyop also recognizes individuals who have made significant early career contributions to the science or practice of IO psychology. Dr. Philip T Walmsley is a recipient of the Distinguished Early Career Contributions Award in Practice. His work with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection and the U.S. Office of Personnel Management has showcased not only his research, analysis, and assessment skills, but also his adaptability and rapport. He also gives back to the IO field through his pro bono and reviewer work. Dr. Joel Koopman, recipient of the Distinguished Early Career Contributions Award in Science, has published 34 refereed journal articles and 3 book chapters, and made significant contributions to understanding employee performance, organizational justice, and well-being. He received the David P. Lepak Service Award and the Early Career Award by the HR Division of the Academy of Management, participated in numerous conferences, and served on dissertation committees. Dr. Sam Yam graduated 6 years ago, but has already had 49 publications, with 25 appeared in top-tier outlets. Recipient of the Distinguished Early Career Contributions Award in Science, he was selected as one of the top 40 business school professors under 40 years old by Poets and Quants. and received the Association for Psychological Science Janet Taylor Spence Award for transformative early career contributions.
So congratulations to all the winners. I invite the 2020, 2021, and 2022 winners to join us in the VIP area over here for photos and a champagne toast at the end of the plenary session. I'd also like to take a moment to remind everyone that the 2023 Psyop Award cycle is underway and will close on June 30th. Please take a moment to review the awards, scholarships, and grants available to Psyop membership. Consider if there is anyone you think should be acknowledged with a Psyop Award, whether it is you personally, a colleague, or even someone you don't know but whose work you admire. We welcome all nominees and applicants for the many awards, scholarships, and grants. We're always proud to see our own Psyop members make great contributions to the field. We encourage you to personally congratulate this year's winners, and last year's and the years before, on their achievements. Thank you. I'd like to now introduce our Psyop Foundation President, Milt Huckle.
Thanks, Joe. It is so wonderful to be back here in person and face-to-face and seeing all of the wonderful things that people are doing as IO psychologists in this profession. And if I can find the clicker, which seems to have disappeared underneath the page here. Okay. The trustees join me in thanking you for all of your support over these past 2 years. And I'm particularly happy to announce that there's going to be one more new award next year, given for the first time. It will be given in Boston. It is the Wayne Cassio Scientist Practitioner Award. And Wayne has been working with the foundation trustees over the past several years to build the endowment. The call for nominations is now open. Please flood the awards committee with nominations. They have their work cut out for them, especially in this inaugural year coming up. Psyop is especially about praxis, and one of the things we have done is renamed our fund for the future as the Praxis Fund to symbolize the synthesis of theory and practice without presuming the primacy of either one. That is what scientist practitioner model is all about. It is a kind of label that I think will serve us well on the outside as we do elevator speeches with people and they say, praxis, what's that? Well, scientist practitioner has too many syllables in it to make it fit in an elevator speech, and so these awards that you've seen, they are a glorious way of uniting that double helix in a clear, transparent cover. So the Psyop Foundation mission is to connect donors with IO professionals to create smarter workplaces, and especially over the past 2 years, we've been making some very nice progress with that, especially with giving the Visionary Grant first in Austin, which didn't happen actually in Austin, and another one today. Adrian Kalala, please come on up.
Thanks, Mel. I'm really happy to be here today in my role as the chair of the Visionary Circle Steering Committee to announce the winner of the second round of the Visionary Circle Grant. Now, this is a $100,000 award given for a visionary project which addresses both the science and practice of IO psychology. The Visionary Circle grant process differs a bit from our other award processes. First, applicants send in a letter of an intent answering the call. What would you do if you had $100,000 to shape the future of work? This year, 24 teams responded to that call. From these LOIs, the Visionary Circle Steering Committee chose 7 teams and asked them to submit a full proposal. From those 7, 4 teams were chosen as finalists. The next step was that Visionary Circle members, these are donors who donated at least $1,000 to this award, received the 4 proposals and also a short video from each of the finalist teams. They then ultimately selected the recipient of this award by voting. Before announcing, am I on the right slide? Yes. Okay, before announcing the finalists and recipient, I'd like to give a big, big thanks to the Visionary Circle Steering Committee for all their hard work on this award. The members are Alex Alonso, Laura Kappas-Bryan, Alan Church, Alexis Fink, Rick Jacobs, Juan Madeira, Rafi Prager, and Jack Wiley. Thanks, guys. Okay. A big and sincere thanks also goes to the Visionary Circle member donors with whose financial support and the effort that they put into the selection process ultimately makes this award possible. And finally, I want to thank all of the creative and visionary project teams out there who submitted their work. Okay. Now, on to our finalists in alphabetical order. Okay. First we are in this together when an AI agent becomes your teammate. This was submitted by Eleni Yorganta, Anna Sophia Ulfert, Mirth Tillman, Shani Honig, and Tal Oran Gilad. Second, we have inclusion is what we do, validating a behavioral measure to build an employee personalized inclusive conversation tool, or EPIC, and advanced DEI science and practice, submitted by Victoria Mattingly, Kelsey Colley, Nicholas Salter, and Certrice Grice. Okay. Third is seeing believing, the effects of depersonalization on team diversity outcomes by Cynthia Maupin and Gori Mohan. And finally, a climate for work automation, development and validation of the Work Automation Inventory, or WAI, by Ben Schneider and John Boudreau. And now it gives me great pleasure to announce the recipient of the 2022 Visionary Circle Grant. And the winner is, We Are in This Together, When an AI Agent Becomes Your Teammate, by Eleni Yorganta, Anna Sophia Ulfert, Mirth Tillman, Shani Honig, and Taloran Gilad. Okay, congratulations. If you notice, they're all international members and weren't able to attend the conference, so we don't have them here to ask to stand, but they know our thoughts are with them. And I'd also like to thank our other finalists for making this a really exciting grant competition. Okay. Before I get off the stage and hand things over to Mo, I want to note that plans are underway for the 2024 cycle of the Visionary Grant Award. So, start thinking about what you would do if you had $100,000 to shape the future of work, or start thinking about becoming a Visionary Circle member through a donation. Okay. Now I'd like to hand over the stage to our president-elect, Mo Wang. Mo? And we'll start this.
Thank you. All right, so, well, this is the moment we're waiting for, right? So I'm gonna, introduce our president, Steven Rogelberg. All right, so I think we're waiting for the slides to queue up. All right, who is Steven Rogelberg? Such a handsome guy, right? So just, yeah. I did a little bit investigation, so I emailed a lot of Steven's friends, family members, colleagues, Also students, you cannot forget about students. They have the best materials. All right, so we know Steven, well, as the president of Psyop, right? The chancellor's professor at UNC Charlotte, right? A meetings expert, and an award-winning I/O researcher. So, and because he's such an extraordinary person all around, I'm obligated to deliver an extraordinary roast, okay? So I get the opportunity to share some stories about what makes Steven who he is. And it's quite a discovery process, and I actually enjoyed it tremendously. All right, so Steven received his bachelor degree from Tufts University in 1989, and he then went to UConn for his industrial organizational psychology graduate school. He got a master's degree in 1991, and then received a PhD in 1994. So after receiving the PhD, he went to Bowling Green State University, where he published a lot of papers. He received the teaching awards. Actually, one interesting fact is that his work motivation course was actually the first I/O graduate level course I ever took. I never took a nap during that course. So maybe that's not a good thing, because after he finished the course, he moved to UConn, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Not Chapel Hill, sorry, Charlotte, right? So, and where he actually continues to publish papers and impact his colleagues. So, but aside of this typical I/O career, what's more to know about Steven? First of all, lovely family, right? Wife Sandy, right? Daughter Sasha, son Gordon, and the pup, Mochi. Wow, that was a very important part of Steven's life, yeah. And Steven is often described as being very athletic and competitive. So from baseball to fencing to ping pong, Steven has always enjoyed playing and winning sports. His students even describe playing sports and going to gym with him after work. So the saying is, we exercise our brains first and then biceps. So that was yeah. And Steven's dear friend Peter shared this story. So among all the sports Steven plays, ping pong is his one Achilles heel. So it bothered him so much, he actually tossed and turned in bed at night over his losses. So last winter break, Steven went to visit Peter, and naturally he challenged Peter for a ping pong game. And to Peter's shock, Steven won 3 out of 4 of those games. So what happened? So weeks later, Steven's daughter actually illuminated that before he went to visit Peter, he actually took hours and hours of one-on-one training from one of the best ping pong coaches in the United States. Wow, surprise, Peter. You know, probably not seeing that coming, right? Okay, I was reminded to claim this is 100% a true story. So as funny as this may be, it does speak to Steven's tenacity and determination, right? And he doesn't really do anything, halfway. He is committed to do things all the way, or not at all. This might explain why he excels at everything that he does, and it explains why he's well known as the expert of meeting. Well, however, did you know that he is also an expert at wines and fine dining? Well, so quoting one of his students, the students have the best materials, so he's equally observant and expert in research methodology as he is of fine dining cuisine. So Steven is actually known, among his friends, among his family and colleagues as a foodie. Here are some pictures. You can see that he's enjoying the fine dining. And at restaurants, he actually grills the wait staff with questions like, my taste are pretty unique. What do you recommend? Where are you from? Did you make this cocktail? How? Okay. And the most impressive thing is his knowledge of ice wine. So one of his colleagues recently recalled the awe of the whole crowd at a dinner in LA when Steven stood up and passionately explained the characteristics and the background of ice wine production. He must have really made an impression because the dinner took place in 2005. Well, so one thing about Steven is for sure he has made a lasting impression and impact on his students, colleagues, friends, and families alike. Here are some wonderful things those close to Steven have said about him. To me, he is a source of endless support. He wants others to succeed. His energy is infectious. He lives life fully and wholly, ethically grounded, compassionate human, fosters a sense of closeness and inclusivity, leads with his humanity. So all in all, Psyop is fortunate to have a person, such a fun and awesome person as our president. It's with great pleasure that I introduce Psyop President, Steven Rogelberg.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, the clicker is here.
All right,
Okay.
awesome. All right. Thank you, Mo. I actually learned a lot about myself I didn't know. All right, let me get organized here. A clear podium. Good thing I wore trousers. I mean, that's not a given these days, right? I mean, with Zoom calls, so good thing I made a good choice there. All right. Thank you for coming to Psyop. I mean, that's seriously a big deal. I mean, that really, really is a wonderful thing. Thank you for bringing our community together again. It is truly, truly wonderful to see everyone. All right, so I have some presidential remarks. I do want to make this participatory to some extent, so I'm going to ask some questions of you all at times. So, for example, what's my presidential theme? Ah, yes, thank you. It is better together. So before I unpack our Better Together achievements this past year, I have an exciting announcement. Psyop, as an incorporated professional society, has a birthday this June. Happy 40th birthday, Psyop. That's exciting. So there's nothing better than getting together to celebrate a birthday. Thus, I have a birthday-themed presidential talk. Not a ping pong themed presidential. I don't even know who gave me lessons. Who told you that story? Jeez, we need a fact checker. All right, so first of all, birthdays are great opportunities to reminisce. So let's be kind and rewind to 1982 to look at how we compare then to now.
40 years ago, in 1982, Division 14 of the APA formally incorporated as the Society for Industrial and Organizational Psychology.
Incorporation allowed the society to gain an independent and secure base to grow the science and practice of industrial and organizational psychology and drive value for our members.
Substantial changes have occurred since then.
In 1982, the society was composed of approximately 2,000 members and associates.
By 2022, its membership share to look around and consider how far we have come as a society, as a practice, and as a scientist.
While our goals remain the same,
To effect positive change in the world by working to understand and elevate
individual and organizational health, well-being, and effectiveness
the progress and innovation in industrial and organizational psychology
comes from everyone here by sharing,
collaborating,
learning,
and
and
growing
growing
together.
All right. All righty. So let's stay in the present, and I want to share some of what Team Psyop has been up to. This is not exhaustive, but a good sampling for sure. I want to tell you about what we've been up to because there are so many things I feel like we could be proud of, but at the same time, I want to share this with you in hopes that perhaps there's something on this list that maybe you want to get involved with in the future. So first up, technology. So we are definitely leveling up. I don't know if you went to the Psyop webpage, but we've actually made improvements. Not a lot, but some. And we're going to keep making improvements. We also started a major project to fundamentally transform our technology infrastructure over the next year or two. This should be the game changer for Psyop in improving member and volunteer experience. All right, enough about technology. Let's talk about advocating and elevating I/O. We are clearly relevant on Capitol Hill and beyond. We work directly with U.S. Senator Gary Peters and U.S. Representative Derek Kilmer around rebuilding the federal workforce and the modernization of Congress, respectively. Representative Kilmer's actually even joining us at Psyop, and he'll be here on Saturday for a special session, so I hope you might attend that. Next, Psyop has a really active group of experts working with key government offices around the inclusion of I/O concepts in federal policing reform. Pretty cool. The EOC is working to create thoughtful policy around the use of AI and assessment, and we are part of their learning process and helping them shape that policy. Our Psyop UN committee is doing amazing things with the United Nations to elevate good and meaningful work for all. And I am super excited to tell you about something that you all can get involved in, not at once, but everyone over time can get involved in, because I get to announce the Advocacy Academy. Now, you can get involved in advocating for I/O psychology on the national stage. The Academy is a year-long, cohort-based program, all free. You learn each month about advocacy, and it culminates in cohort members having meetings with congressional offices to advocate for I/O science and practice around workforce development, policy, and funding. And finally, we are STEM. Yeah. So physics tried to push against this, but they couldn't stop us. So we are STEM. All right. Are you ready for more? Thank you, Kurt. And Lisa. All right. Excellent. It would have been very awkward if people weren't ready for more. I don't even know what I would do. I could put people into Zoom breakouts or something. The people who want more in one breakout. So that's good. All right. Getting I/O out there to others. So first, as part of a SHRM newsletter to nearly 100,000 people, Psyop now includes a 3-minute video from a member sharing evidence-based practices on a topic of great relevance to HR. Staying with additional access to I/O, I think you all received an email about this, but we are proposing a bylaws change to add an affiliate category to our membership model so that those that are not I/O psychologists or have an adjacent degree, but they still want to know about I/O psychology, can have some limited access to Psyop and its offerings, thus expanding our reach. After all, if we want to positively influence the world of work through our science and practice, we need to engage with a broader audience. More on membership. In response to member feedback, we greatly streamlined the associate path to full membership. More on that coming. Finally, a membership analytics dashboard exists. It is addictive, totally fun to play with, and it's a great way to learn about I/O psychology, the faces of I/O, and the aggregate. All right, so let me pause for a moment. As you know, birthdays often have celebratory toast. All right, so this is where I start losing control of my speech, by the way. So to spice up this speech a bit, I asked my kids, who you met thanks to Mo, Sasha and Gordon, to create a birthday toast to Psyop. I provided no guidance at all, which in retrospect was probably not a good idea. But let's see what they said.
Greetings, illustrious guests of Psyop. I am Gordon Rogelberg.
And I'm Sasha Rogelberg.
Over the past 4 years of our dad being the president of Psyop, behind the scenes, we have formed our own sister organization called Psyop Plus.
We recently celebrated our 41st annual conference, and we are so delighted to wish all of you, Psyop Minus members, a happy 40th birthday. Cheers!
All right. That's not bad. That wasn't bad. They're cute. They're cute. All right, so I'm glad you could meet my kids, I think. All right, so next up, better together accomplishments from a convening perspective. All right, so I have to start with this conference. Both the in-person and virtual events are just first class, and we have amazing attendance at both. To think that we are hitting around 4,000 people, dang, that's awesome. Really fabulous. Psyop's LEC, Leading Edge Consortium, had a wonderful event this past fall, virtual, super successful, but we're going in person in October in Atlanta. If you've never been to an LEC, it is really worth going. We launched the Work Smart series to provide virtual learning and networking opportunities throughout the year, and there's a new one about to come out. Definitely check that out. And we partnered with Karma to provide free professional development around open science for our members. But in my mind, the best form of convening is that of mentoring programs. And I really want to tell you about these mentoring programs in hopes that you will participate in some way as a mentor or a mentee, because they are wonderful. We have the Psyop Practitioner Mentoring Program. We also have the SEMA Advance, Engage, and Mentor Program to provide 10 months of targeted support for ethnic minority students. Wonderful. And our Women's Inclusion Network, WIN, has a cohort-type mentoring program. These are all wonderful opportunities to give and to gain. And thanks to our wonderful president-elect, Mo, the executive board just voted to launch a virtual program for Greater China to attract new interest to Psyop. Next up, diversity and inclusion. We have made some good progress, but we have so much more to do. A collection of really good DE&I resources is now available on the website. We learned a ton from Psyop's first ever diversity climate survey. We offered inaugural family care grants for members who are parents or caretakers needing a little extra support while traveling to Psyop. As you heard earlier, we named our first Psyop ombuds, not ombuds people, I learned, ombuds, note to self. Psyop ombuds to support members and our anti-harassment policy, which is fully in effect. We need to do all we can to make sure Psyop is a safe space. We have our anti-racism research grants program to elevate cutting-edge research on this critical societal topic. And the program that I am most excited about to address clear underrepresentation in I/O psychology, we created the Diversifying I/O Psychology program, the DIP. Yay! The DIP is designed to improve the recruitment and most importantly, the admissions success of Black, Latinx, Hispanic, and Native American students into IO. This is an incredibly cutting-edge program. There's nothing like it we've seen in psychology. This program takes a very holistic perspective on elevating student success, besides providing supervised research opportunities for selected students, because we know how important research experience is. We have a virtual event to provide training and insight into admissions. And we had, good pause there, right? We had over 500 students register for the first virtual conference. And this was just our pilot year, so great things are coming. All right, time for another toast. Is that good? All right, good. All right, time for another toast. This one, oh, I didn't flip my slide. That's very embarrassing and awkward. I just covered that, so we'll keep going. All right, so I have a few more words. As you know, you've met Mochi the pug. So Mochi, although unplanned, has pretty much been in every single Better Together video. She just kind of sneaks in there. She likes the attention. She wanted to attend Psyop to do a toast, but she just wasn't able to make it. But here is her toast. All right, short and sweet. I think she probably did a better job than my kids. I think that was pretty profound. All right, finally, we have a far-reaching bucket creatively called miscellaneous. Did someone advance that for me? That's actually helpful because I obviously am not doing it. All right, so here we go. Members, you all, will be able to trace your academic family tree through our website. I think that's kind of nifty. So you can put your name in there and see your whole little history. Spoiler alert, Wilhelm Wundt was a very busy boy. As you saw, we launched the Wayne Cassio Science Practice Award, which is wonderful. Fantastic engagement and partnership with APA to support IO. It's better than I personally have ever seen in my career. Psyop's voice is being heard in the broader psychological community, which is just so important. We launched a monthly YouTube series called Getting Social with Psyop to help members better leverage digital media. That's kind of nice. So if you're waiting for the internet to go away, I don't think it's going to happen, so you might want to watch these videos. Do take a moment each week to check out our weekly newsletter, the Psyop Source. It's getting better and better and better, and now includes research translation pieces. Finally, and I can take a breath, as you heard, we welcome 20 new SIOP Fellows. But you didn't know this, maybe. For the first time in SIOP's history, we had an equal number of practitioners and academics earn fellow status. Great job to Stephanie and her committee. All right, so if you want more information on any of this content, definitely shoot me an email, but I'm only president for about another couple days, so shoot Mo an email. I'm sure he would love it. Or email the administrative office, and we'll make sure you get what you need. Really happy to do it. All right, so what is a birthday party without birthday wishes? It wouldn't be a birthday party, no. So, given time constraints, I have 2 birthday wishes I want to share. Wishes for IO and our members. All right, my first wish. My first wish that as a community, we each seek ways to leverage IO to address critical societal issues around racism, poverty, inequalities, and improving the work lives for vulnerable populations. We have a role to play. We have a role to play. And this sounds daunting, I know, but I truly believe that great societal change can indeed happen through each person doing something. What could this look like? Each of us can help give IO away to nonprofits and schools. Namely, we can work to support organizations on the front lines of these societal crises. Just reach out to nonprofit leaders or school principals and extend a hand of support. See where it goes. Perhaps you could provide free training, a survey, program evaluation, help with a grant application, volunteer, or just provide counsel on leadership effectiveness, employee experience, and volunteer experience. Look for something. Look for something that feels right to you. It can be small, but small efforts across people accumulate into big wins. We truly can make a difference as a collective. My second wish. My second wish is inward focused. My second wish is for each of us to help nurture IO psychology's science practice ideals and values. Having practitioners, students, and academics under the same roof is an incredible opportunity for each of us. It is so rare in a professional organization. I don't think people realize how special we are. But it's just a starting point. Each of us needs to push outside of our comfort zones to realize the potential of this incredible professional diversity. Namely, we should actively seek out and foster meaningful connections and collaborations with those not in our professional domain. This is easy to say, but actually doing this requires intentionality and real work from all parties. Create a project, bring new voices to an existing project, share data, to name a few examples. The reward for doing this will not come from our employers. The reward is knowing you are nurturing arguably the most special aspect of our discipline, our science practice core. Furthermore, embracing additional perspectives will only serve to elevate our science practice and teaching. This takes me now back to my presidential theme, which was what? All right, I love this group. All right, as a science, as a practice, as a professional organization, and as a community, we are truly better together. Together, we can support each other, we can push and challenge each other, we can learn from each other, we can collaborate with each other to maximize positive impact, and we can help each other become the best we can be. Alrighty, let me start bringing this home so you can enjoy cocktails and food. What is a birthday party without a rendition of Happy Birthday? It's not a party. So I want to try something crazy. I want you to join me in the largest rendition of Happy Birthday ever done in Psyop history. Right? We get to make history. How often do you get to make history? So we get to make history. I just need 20 seconds of your enthusiastic singing to prevent this epic failure, which would also be another historical event. But give me 20 seconds of your enthusiastic singing. And the good news is that if you don't know the words to Happy Birthday, I actually prepared some slides with them. Ready? Hit it. Birthday to you. Oh, that was wonderful. All right, that was really good. That was so much better than I anticipated. I woke up at 3:30 and I was like, oh my God, what have I done? Can I still change my slides? I'm glad I didn't. You nailed it. That's wonderful. So I know speeches can't do everything for everyone. My goals were to celebrate a bit, inform a bit, inspire a bit, and bring a bit of joy. I hope I met those goals to some extent. Oh, thank you. Before closing, There are so many amazing people on Team Psyop to thank. I know I can't thank all as we have over 1,000 volunteers, but I do want to do a special shout out to Whitney Bosford Morgan and Richard Landers, our conference and program chairs respectively. They and their respective committees have done amazing efforts on behalf of Psyop. Could you both stand up and we'll give you a big round of applause? All right, these are my final sentences. I'm going to take this in for a minute, look around, enjoy this moment. All right. Serving as Psyop president has been an incredible honor. An honor I have relished and taken very seriously. I am so grateful for the opportunity. I'm so grateful to our amazing administrative office. I'm so grateful to our incredible executive board. I'm so grateful to all of our volunteers. And I'm so grateful that an organization like Psyop exists as our professional home. And I'm so grateful to be part of this amazing community. I look forward to celebrating many more birthdays with you. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh. All right. Thanks.
Congratulations again.
Thank you, Steven. As a reminder to all award winners and fellows from 2020, 2021, and 2022, please gather here for our VIP celebration and group photographs. Finally, a warm thank you to our opening plenary sponsor and host of the welcome reception, SHL. Please join me in watching this brief message from them, after which we will all enjoy the welcome reception just outside these doors.
We look at what we call talent acquisition, which is hiring, and we also look at what we call talent management, which is about employees within a workforce. And what we do is we provide insight into the individual that can then be used for a variety of different development purposes. Could be used for better learning, could be used for reskilling, could be used to have a career conversation with a manager about where they might want to go in the future. So what we provide is that unbiased, scientific-based insight that enables a person to have a better conversation and get a better outcome.